Hey y'all, it's Nay. Welcome back. So this is a continuation of the video I posted where it said your wife has been set apart, right? Because the wives have already been set apart. I'm getting a while ago. Like God has already told his soldiers to go pick up specific people that he already have set out to be a wife. And, some people didn't like the way that God brought them into these situations. Some people were minding their business. They probably didn't even want to be a wife. Maybe they were scarred or hurt before, or maybe not even. Maybe they just didn't want that for real. And God kind of hit them with a revelation like, no, I need you to prepare your body, your soul, because I want you to be a wife. And I want you to do it in the eyes of Christ. I want you to do it the right way. So I'm pulling you aside for this. I'm setting you apart and I'm going to build you up, and I need you to be yourself. I need you to show off all the talents and gifts that I have placed in you so that you can impress your king, right? I need you to impress your king because at the end of the day, we all got somebody. So God is saying, I need you to impress your king. Yes, the women was there with Hadassah, aka Esther, all to be chosen by this one particular king. But as you can tell, moving along, it was very evident and clear that Hadassah was going to be the queen because she was already doing things to stand out. And it just made sense that she was the better match for this particular king, which means that the other women have other matches as well. It's just not that king. But they have a king. It just wasn't him. Right? God will do certain things so that we begin to, fall right into the place of where we're supposed to be. And he used other women or whatever at that time for Hadassah, aka Esther, to get with her king, because this is a big important union. So this is how I'm going to get to my next point. Esther was so valuable and so important here. And even the guards can tell is because the guard knew that real love can bring and change and shape an environment, a person, a situation all around. It can make things very, very different. And this is why Esther became favorable to one of the main guards there, is because she used to read a lot. She believed in romance. And when you know love for real and you understand God, right, you would know that love and union is actually the savor of all things. When we realize that some people are rude, disrespectful, haters, jealous because they're missing a bit of love there, then we will start to, show love and love people more. You get what I'm saying? So this woman was already being looked at as someone a bit different. She was acting different compared to all the other girls that were there. And a guard noticed this, and he actually helped her when he spoke to her, and she said that she read and stuff like that. She loved like romantic books, or even how she not even romance, because she made the story of Jacob and Rachel a romantic story to talk about with the guard, or to talk about with her king too as well. She talked about that with him, and how he wanted to really he wanted to get with Rachel, but his dad ended up BSing him, right? And giving him Leah instead of Rachel. And he was like, well, what do I have to do to get Rachel? I wanted Rachel. I didn't work all this hard and do all of this for this amount of years for you to not give me the wife or your daughter that I asked for. And then the guy was like, you got to work or serve her for another couple of years, and that's how you're going to get her. So Esther was basically explaining that throughout the movie, about like that being her fairy tale story, right? Her romantic story. And this kind of, made the king get a bit interested. So next thing, you guys have been broadening your horizons when it comes to Bible stories and looking at love and seeing the love in it, right? Not everyone could read that story and understand the love within it, or understand why this person would want to serve and be with someone for a particular amount of years just to be approved by the father to marry a daughter. But Esther knew. And you women that are being set apart for your husband at this time, this is for the women right now, the ladies. You're at a point where hold on one second, y'all. You're at a point where God is showing you things, and you're starting to be able to romanticize things and see the love, or see the bigger picture, right? So you're stepping into that season where now you're really seeing the love in everything. And when you start to really see the love in everything, your mood, your body, the way that you react to the world, it changes. So Esther was walking around kind of like she wasn't a prisoner, and she was happy to be there. She knew that God sent her there. You know what I'm saying? And she was just, sharing the stories about Jacob or whatever. And the king even heard her. And of course, he didn't really understand it yet, but he was curious enough. So you ladies are probably being set out to speak on certain stories or enlighten your king on messages, right? And they might not be aware or understand exactly what it is, but you're going to spark some type of interest into them, because one, they're not going to ever probably have heard this before, and two, it's the way that you're so sincere and loving about it. You get what I'm saying? It's not about really just the story. It's the fact that Esther was very adamant and serious about this love story. You get what I'm saying? That's what made the king really be a bit curious about it. So there's some ladies who have been bringing things to their king's attention, and he's starting to see the bigger picture. Basically, he's starting to really see the bigger picture and be curious to why you're interested in this, or why you're even speaking on this. So basically, in translation, there could be some women who have been booms. You're set out apart for your husband. You're waiting for your king. God is grooming you. God has you on detoxes. God have you, taking care of your body, cleaning out your flesh, just getting all the toxic out, so you're ready for new, right? New love, happiness. And you might have already ran in contact with your king, right? You might have already bumped heads with him, ran into him, coffee shop, wherever. Maybe you guys work together, live together in the same community or something like that. I don't know. But this is for someone you've already have your eye on your king. And you're at this point now where you shared or had conversations with this king, and at first you probably was hesitant to speak on these things because everybody wouldn't understand them, right? So Esther, she's not going to want to just speak about the story of Jacob, because if you don't really understand on a deeper level, it's just pointless. It's like if you just shallow, it's just shallow. So she, or you have been being led to share specific stories or open up to your king in a way that someone has never done before, to make them see things differently about something. So there could be some women that was set out on assignments by God to reach out to their partners, or to share certain stories or whatever to their partners, to relate to their life, their love life, or just love, period, right? And at first your kings was a bit confused, but they're always curious. Even though they was confused, they was still a bit curious, because you're beautiful. So you're someone that they're already curious about, right? Looking at you. But now you're talking about particular stories that no one ever really dissect on. You get what I'm saying? And it's it makes you even more pretty now, because now they're who is this person? Who are you? Type thing. So there's women that was definitely set out to share some stories and talk about some things to their partner, and their partner could have been a bit confused but intrigued at the same time, because they're trying to figure out exactly what it is that you're trying to say, what the message is. And some of them never had it told to them in this way. You get what I'm saying? People hear about the story of Jacob and Rachel and Leah all the time, but they don't understand that he had to serve her for another 7 years, I believe, in order for him to get the wife that he wanted, in order for the dad to say, you can have my daughter. And that just shows that God does not play about his daughters. If you're going to get with his daughter, God is going to have it where you're going to be there for a couple of years serving this daughter so that you get to know this daughter and you get to know all the deepness and love that is flowing within this daughter. So it's like Jacob really, he was standing by. He was going to do it because he wanted to marry her. But the fact that the dad gave him the wrong sister and then told him he needed to do another 7 years, it just shows the value. Like, God is not just giving up his daughters easily to these men. He's putting these men to work to learn things. They have to discover themselves through these daughters. And it's just showing, it's like, listen, I can give you my daughter to marry, but I need you to understand my daughter. I need you to read my daughter. I need you to love my daughter. I need you to understand what my daughter is speaking on, because the messages is coming from me. So I need you to be able to understand these stories that are being told and be able to really dig deep and understand exactly what I'm saying here. So no, God is not giving you off easily to your kingdom spouses. You guys have to really build that deep connection. This person has to really get to know you. This person has to really get to know the Father. You feel me? It's really about getting to know God during those 7 years of preparation so that you're able to really serve in the way that God needs you to serve, right? Because the man is right after God, right after Christ. So if Christ is leading the man, now the man could properly lead his woman. But God is not going to just put you in that leadership position if you have not been led or understood by Christ yet. So this is part of you serving for those 7 years until you're able to get your true woman. So, women, you have already been set apart. You have already shared the knowledge. You have already started talking about specific Bible stories, things that God have been highlighting in your life. And you have already shared this with your king. Right? This message is for women who've already was led or called to reach out, or y'all had conversations with your kingdom spouse. You done shared certain things about your life, about the Bible, opening up their eyes to a different type of lifestyle, I want to say, because some of them have been living a different life. We see the king, he wasn't who he is with Esther. And this is why the guards was really adamant about finding him a true queen that knew about God and romance and love, because we know love make the world go around. When there's an imbalance with love, you get evil leaderships. You get leaders that are not able to compromise. You get leaders that don't have a good understanding. You get leaders that are not knowledgeable, that don't have any discernment. You feel me? The king did not have a good discerning spirit. He was not able to really discern in Haman who was the enemy. He didn't really notice Haman was Hamaning until Haman put his hands on the queen. Right? And then that's when the king said, hey, take Mordecai, switch them. And you're going to hang Haman instead of hanging Mordecai and let Mordecai live, because Mordecai had actually saved the king's life at one point, right? But it shows that, like, the kings don't be knowing. They didn't see a clear visual. They don't have the spirit of discernment yet to be able to discern these things. And this is why you being around and you following what God is telling you to do is so important, because you're helping their spirit to grow. Right? So now that you have planted the seed and spoke on things that God wanted you to drop onto them, right? To have in their spirit. Now the enemy is going overtime to get them to stay in this mindset of like a fake confusion. It's like this person can kind of see clearly now, but the enemy is trying to put things in their mind or make them think things to keep them confused. So the king was starting to see things more clearly now with the queen and understanding the story of Jacob. But the enemy started to get into his mind thinking that Hadassah, aka Esther, wasn't loyal because he seen her with Mordecai, but not knowing that was actually her uncle. Right. And he started to feel a bit of a way because he felt like she was cheating or she had visitors and he didn't know about it. That's the enemy trying to plant little seeds in there to get an imbalance going, because it was actually working. The man has actually began to fall in love. So now the enemy has to do something or make him see something to get him to revisit his thoughts and think that he shouldn't do what he was already set out to do, or he shouldn't feel this way about this person when he really loved this person or whatever like that. You feel me? So now the enemy had it where the king pulled up by this gate, and that's where Esther was meeting her uncle Mordecai. You feel me? But the king didn't know that was her uncle because, again, Mordecai was a Jew. Hadassah, aka Esther, she was a Jew. So the plan was to not be a Jew so that she could become queen or something like that. But that's another message within that. It's just telling you with the whole Jew situation is that you're different than your king. You're not even from the same background. Like, you and your king are totally different. And what I mean by that is like different beliefs, right? So when you express to your king these Bible stories or whatever it is, right? These testimonies that God wanted you to enlighten your king on, right? To have you to shine and glow, to stand out. Not realizing that, like, this king was literally not seeing. This king just wasn't seeing clearly because of the environment and things that the king was doing. The way that this king was living. And it's kind of amazing when they do it like that, because it just shows that the woman was so different, right? She was so different to the point where if people knew that the king was with this woman, how different she was, it would have been a problem. And this is what I'm getting from you and your partner. It's like, you're so different. Maybe you don't have the same church beliefs, or maybe you do things that's a bit untraditional and people will judge you, or the king feels like people will judge him because you're different. You're considered a different type of Christian or something like that. Like, y'all beliefs in God is different, or whatever it might be. And it's like this person, I at the end, the king definitely realized that it was nothing wrong from the background of where the woman was from. It was always him in the way that he looked at things, right? It was never that your woman is from a crazy environment or a background or what she believes is immortal or anything like that. It was just that you wasn't used to it and you didn't want to deal with the backlash or people saying anything about you dealing with this woman because she's a bit different. So Esther was definitely super different. Her beliefs was different. So him having this beef with the Jews, quote unquote, the king, and now he's loving and he done fell in love with someone named Esther to be his queen, and the whole time she's a Jew. Whole time she's the ops, the ones that he don't deal with. And it just shows that what you might believe or how you might feel is not going to always be how you're going to end up, right? He felt strongly a way about Jews, but that's why God knows best. And this is why God put Esther on that path in that situation, because it's like love will change that. Love will change how you feel about people, places, where they're from and stuff like that. And then you're able to see clearly that, sometimes that doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is how do we treat people? What's coming from the heart, their character, right? Are they a liar? Are they greedy? Do they have covetous energy? Because that's all that Haman had, and he wasn't a Jew. But he had covetous energy. He was greedy. He was a liar. He was malicious. He was very deceptive. So the king had a revelation there where it's like, well, this is a Jew, but I get real love. There's no way this could be a Jew when they say the Jews is bad and Jews got this vibe. But I'm feeling the love and getting this from this girl. So what the? And this is what's happening with your partners. They're having a moment where they're realizing that what they were saying about you or what others were saying about you, it doesn't matter. Because they see your heart. They see your character. They see what life is really about when it comes to you. So they see it differently. They're like, I got folks that believe in the same things that I believe in, but they act differently or their lives is differently. But this person is a sweetheart and caring and hopeful. But she's this, and she's supposed to be considered the opposition or bad, you know? So it's like you change the whole outlook that your king have on a whole community, I want to say. Right? And it's like, because your king, his spiritual ranking wasn't the highest, let's be real, he was not able to really discern properly and see the games and torture and the manipulative antics that were being right there shown to him until he actually kind of like surrendered or just accept the fact that he did love Esther. And I feel like the king didn't really notice that he loved her until Esther, she went against all the rules and she went to go see the king unsummoned, right? So in the book of Esther, in order for someone to go have a conversation, see the king, whatever, he has to summon to call you. He has to call you. He has to send for you. And if you not being sent for and you come see the king, you can die literally right then and there. And the fact that, so basically the king was about to sign the shit over. Haman was going to get everything in charge, basically. I'm just kind of wrapping it up. And the king was moving to Greek or going to Greek like the next day or something. So it was a short time period. Okay, stay with me here. A lot of women were put on an assignment where you had to speak out and save your marriage within a short time frame. It was like the enemy had something planned and God needed you to come in and intercept that within a short time frame. But it was something that was out of the norm, something that people could get persecuted for, get killed for. Okay, the way that you had to go about it, it could have been embarrassing, right? Something, because she was walking through in front of everyone and everyone's watching her come to the king while he didn't summon for her. It could feel embarrassing, right? You could have probably had to open up your heart and say things and just be very, very vulnerable with your king. And this was the moment, I believe, the king realized Esther loved him, and the king realized, I love this damn girl. I love this girl. Because as she's walking to him, she's not looking at him. Right? Head is down. When she finally looks at him, it's like a little smile. Like they exchange smiles. It's like, wow, you fought for me. You know you can die right now. You still came to come see me. And it's like a spark that goes off between them. And then one of the guards come with his damn machete ready to kill the girl. And what happens? The king stops the sword or the knife from hitting Esther. And he was like, the king can do and stop the rules whatever he wants, justifying the fact that he's not killing Esther because she came to him unsummoned. And at that moment, when everyone was watching, when it felt embarrassing, when everything was on the line, that is when they noticed that they loved each other. That is the moment. So, ladies, you could have been pushed to, reach out to your person because, again, someone has to stand for the marriage, right? Someone has to be Esther. And there's not many people that is willing to do this, but God will choose and say, listen, I need you to stand for your marriage, right? 1 second, y'all. I need to blow my nose. Excuse me. But yeah, as long as God has one person standing for the message, then he can continue to try to give, not standing for the message, standing for the marriage. He can try to give the messages to that one person to fulfill the marriage, right? To fulfill the promise. And that's basically what he did with Esther. He had Esther to take a stand and be the one to stand for, you know, basically the marriage, even though it was a whole different kind of scenario with, you know, the whole situation and stuff like that. But at that moment, when she risked it all and she really came to him in front of everyone, that is when the king noticed that he was in love with her, right? And a lot of the men, your spouses, 11:11 on the clock, y'all, they have gone through that point where they have realized that they do love you. So we have some where they realize that they love you because you done did something that no one has ever did, right? You done spoke up. You came clean about something. You said something. You presented yourself. You put your heart out there. Whatever it is that can symbolize Esther walking to see the king, to stop whatever she was stopping after, you know, fasting and stuff like that. Because remember, she called for God and his angels and the whole world to help for this. They went on a fast. All right. So you already cried out to God, asking for the army. You already went on a fast. You know what I'm saying? This is all things that you had to do for this moment to come in and save your marriage and say some specific words, or maybe reach out with a phone call. But it was something that you had to do that felt like you walking down that aisle, basically up to the king, in the book of Esther. And when you did this, it showed that you really loved this person. It did. It showed it. You didn't care about the consequences, what could happen after. You didn't care if you were going to be persecuted, killed, whatever. You were coming to make it known that I love you and I need us to talk about this, think about this. Can we change something, switch something, please? Right? And it stood out to the king. It definitely did. But because the enemy is still playing with him, he's still thinking that she's cheating on him or she's not loyal to him or whatever it may be, right? Because this is why the king and Esther kept having a little rocky, you know, relationship towards that part, is because he still thinks that she was secretly, you know, dealing with someone else because that was her uncle. But then she finally tells the truth after the fact. You get what I'm saying? But to sum this up, y'all, your kings are about to tell you that I see the stars. Your king is about to let you know, I see the stars. You're going to ask them, what made you come back? What made you come back? And they're going to say, I seen the stars. Now, if you watched the book of Esther, you know what I'm talking about. But let me break it down to you, and this is how I'm going to end this message. So in the video, the woman, she had a special necklace, right? And it was kind of her and the king's thing. It was like this necklace. So when he saw her talking to her uncle, right, and he thought that she was with someone else, she dropped the necklace. So he got pissed. He gave it back to her, blah, 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 whatever, right? So it's a significant necklace that they had. This was the necklace that the guard gave her in the beginning when the guard told the women to look for a jewelry piece to give to the king. The guard gave her this necklace. It was a new piece, something that the king would like, something that stood out, right? So the guard symbolizes God and his angels giving you help to tell you what this person will like, what to say, what to bring to them, right? That was just that side note. So now the woman, she has this necklace, but the necklace is not just a necklace. It's a symbolization of their union. It's a symbolization of God, right? She sees things, she feels things with this necklace. So every time this necklace is dwindling in some type of light, and I just felt a sense of deja vu just now talking about this, y'all. But every time this necklace is like a little crystal piece that was dangling in this light, stars will just start going around the whole room. Right? The woman, Esther, she'll just see stars, and it's like paradise is going around the whole room, which is telling her this is her partner. This is it. So a lot of women, right, these God-ordained spouses, you know that this is right. You know that this is your partner. You see the stars. You've been saw it. God showed you the symbolization. You've been given the confirmation that this is yours. This is your person. This is your king, right? So every time Esther seen the stars, it gave her a sense of relief that she was on the right path, or she was where she was supposed to be, right? Because she seen these stars. Felt like paradise. It felt like something there was for her. So we're at the end of this now, where Haman and stuff is about to get, right before Haman gets hanged or whatever, they're having a discussion about the jewels and blah, 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 blah. So she's, again, trying to confess her love and whatever she was doing, again, not really getting into the details specifically. And she goes and she's like, she gets her necklace and she puts it in a light, and it's Haman and I believe the king sitting there. And she's like, do you see the light? You don't see the light? And we see the light because we seeing it from her point of view. And then it switches to where now we're seeing it from Haman's point of view. And now we're seeing it from the king's point of view. And they don't see no stars. There's no stars going around the room. But when we're doing it from her point of view, we have stars going around the room. And she's like, do you not see the stars? You don't see the stars? So this is symbolizing how you was a bit frustrated with your partner, right? Your kingdom spouse. You're like, do you not see the stars? Do you not know that I'm the person, I'm the piece to the puzzle? I'm needed to help the whole kingdom, because again, with Esther in that palace, everything will change. This is why the guard was he loved Esther. He didn't even want her to go unsummoned to the king. Remember, he interfered with that because he didn't want her to die. He was like, no, I can't have you risking it all like this and getting killed. You feel me? So you have these guards they're protecting you. They don't want you to do something that might get the king to say, I don't want to deal with this at all. But she persevered through. And it's just so crazy because at the end, she was like, do you not see the stars? And there's women that ask your partner the same thing. Do you not know that I'm your wife? Do you not see what we have? Do you not believe me? Do you not love me? Do you not feel the chemistry? Do you not feel this? That was what that mean. Do you not see the stars? Like, do you not see what I see? Do you not feel what I feel? How can you not? How can you not see what I'm seeing here? Like, how? And then it's like a moment of silence, and we go to see the king, and we go to see Haman's side, and ain't no damn stars. The room is not lit up. They cannot see her point of view. They cannot see from her perspective. Well, at least Haman can't. So now Haman and Esther, they get into it. So you got this enemy. You got someone that is the opposition that's close to your partner who's been trying to, stir the pot or just keep you guys unbalanced. That's it. But one thing about it, God is going to get every counterfeit or enemy up out of the way, just like he got Haman out of the way. Because these counterfeits, these people, this person that's close to the king, they're going to show their ass. Haman hit Esther, and that's when the king came in and he saved Esther, and that's when he told Haman he was going to be hanged. So these counterfeits, or someone that is very close to the king, that has been able to manipulate and play with this king's mind, right? They're going to do something because these motherfuckers are so bold. When the enemy is using someone, they feel like they're made out of steel. They're untouchable. So Haman began to be so bold. You would have thought that the king wasn't even near the way that he hit Esther. And that's why the king was like, in my own house? You're going to hit my wife? So it's like there's a friend that's involved with your king that's going to do something or say something, and your king is going to feel very disrespected because it's going to happen under the roof that they're in. Like, they're going to be there. Like, in my house? And this is what's going to get the discernment to be sharper. And now this person, the king, is looking at Haman like, what the fuck? I was blinded all along. And he did not flinch when he said, hang Haman. It's like it automatically clicked what Haman was doing. He didn't have time to be sad and be thinking all hard. He was like, yo, this nigga really touched my wife. He was trying to like harm my wife. Oh, this is what he's really been on this whole time. Done. It's like this person get a sudden revelation. It's like the king had a sudden revelation very, very fast. And after that took place, he came back for Esther, right? And Esther is just a bit weary. She's like, all of this, the fuck, I don't got my man. Like, what's going on? The fuck. And he comes back to her. The king comes back to Esther. And she was like, what made you come back? Why did you come back? And his reply was, I saw the stars. I saw the stars. I saw the stars, which symbolizes, I see it now. I see you now. I see us now. I see the plan that God has for us. I understand that you're my wife now. I understand what I'm supposed to be doing in this union now. I get it. I see the stars. My discernment is sharp now. I can see clearly now. That's what that meant. He said, I can see clearly now. I know what it is God is trying to tell me. So your spouses are getting ready to tell you that they see the stars. A lot of them haven't been seeing clearly because of the things that they're around and the distractions, right, in their life. Mixed with a bit of ego and pride, right? Because the king was a bit prideful until the right person came along and softened up his heart. So wives, stay the course because your man is about to tell you, I finally see the stars. They're finally ready to accept what it truly is. They see it. The king seen clearly now. And this is what the last things that he said to Esther was, I saw the stars. So when she was showing the necklace, the light on the necklace, he was able to see the fantasy that she was able to see. So some of you, the wives, y'all have been trying to get your partner to see clearly for the longest, and this person hasn't been seeing the stars. But I'm here to let you know, your man is about to tell you that he sees the stars. He sees clearly now. All right, y'all. Catch you on my next video. Bye.